Okay, let's get going. This is the next video. We're going to talk about how to bring models into your project, and it's really nice to use something like Mixamo just to kind of get base animations and even a base model, just so that you don't have to waste too much time trying to get something up and running through a prototype by doing art assets, rigging, animating, all that kind of stuff. So what we're looking at here, it's Mixamo.com, so you can use your Adobe ID if you have one to sign in, or you can create a new ID. It's up to you. What we're going to be doing here is I've already logged in, and this is where it takes us to. Normally this will be blank when you first start out. The way you navigate this viewport is left mouse button to rotate, middle mouse button to pan, and then right middle mouse button to wheel to zoom in and out, or just use your right mouse button, hold it down to zoom in and out. Up to you how you want to go about that. Okay, so I'm going to choose a character, so click at the character tab at the top there. Apologies if my internet's a little bit slow. I'm currently between different ISP people and they're both crappy right now. Let's pick. Let's see, what are we picking? Let's pick this little mouse character. Actually, this one here is kind of creepy. I think I will choose that one. Let's just click on that one. There you go. So this video is going to be a short one. It's just going to be about what download settings you should have for Mixamo, and then what import settings you should have on Unity side. And then from there we can go on to whatever else needs to be done in the next video, which is adding the animator, adding animations, that sort of thing. Wow, he's creepy. I like it. Okay, so before I even download animations, I normally just click download to download a base model. So a T-pose, no animations. Now, you can choose standard FBX, but because there's an option for FBX for Unity, I normally choose that, and then I click download. And I'm going to put this in my assets folder of my project I'm currently working in. Apologies for my dogs in the background, they're going mad. It is garbage day, so I'm just going to put this in my project. Inside the assets folder, and I delete this so we can do it again. I create a new folder called models. If you haven't wondered, this is the second time I did this video. This first time there was some crackling in the audio, so I had to redo it. Create a models folder and just click save. And while we're waiting for that, I'm going to click the animation tab at the top here, and we're going to start looking for animations for this little guy. So our character can move around and it can jump. And it can also be in an idle state where it's not playing any animation. So I'm going to search for an idle animation at the top left here. Just look for idle and see what idle animations you can find. The thing about game design or game animations is, like in animation itself, you normally kind of exaggerate all the movements and everything, and you do the same thing in game, but keeping in mind, if an animation repeats itself over and over, you don't want a very distinct moment where you say, oh, I can see where the loop starts and the loop ends. So I'm going to choose this one because it's cool, but it is one that I wouldn't use normally, because there's a very distinct moment where he taps his foot and you can see it over and over. So I'm going to download this. So now I click the download button again. This time you'll see we have 4 options. We no longer just have 2 options. So FBX for Unity stays the same. Leave the frame rate as it is because that's the frame rate they made the animation. So let's not mess around with it. We're not going to do any keyframe reduction. What keyframe reduction is, it tries to compress and reduce the file size by removing keyframes that it deems not necessary. And sometimes that keyframe is there for a reason, and the computer thinks, oh, the foot's still in the same place for 20 frames, why do we have all these keyframes in between? And the moment you remove them, the curve of the animation changes, and the foot might go from being in the same spot, but it might dip below the ground and then come back up again. So we don't want to do any keyframe reduction right now. If we do, we'll do it in Unity, with or without skin. With skin means it's going to export this animation with the model that we see in the viewport there. But because I'm already downloading the base model with the rig, I don't need the model again. If I say without skin, it's going to reduce the file size significantly. And you'll see it now. While we've been talking, the model has finally downloaded. And now I'm going to download this one without skin. And you'll notice how quickly it downloads because it doesn't actually have the model, the geometry with it. Okay, so while we wait for that, I'm going to just save that into the models folder, or you can go and create, let's go create a new folder called animations. It's up to you if you want to. It's just from an admin standpoint, like how do you prefer to have your stuff filed? Saving it, and notice it's done. It's completed already. And now you can choose a walk, run, jog, whatever it is. I'm going to do a run. I'm going to find a run that isn't completely weird. I always find this one to be quite amusing. Actually, I think I'm going to use this one. Why not? Okay, so notice how the animation starts on the left side of the screen and moves towards the right side. This is an animation that what we call has a root motion. So this animation could actually move your character around based on the movement of the actual animation. But because we're creating a controller that's based around physics and we are controlling the speed of the character based on a value, I want to click on in place on the bottom right here, so that you'll see now the run happens on the spot. It no longer looks like he's running on a treadmill. He no longer moves forward while running. Okay, let's click download. Let's download without skin. Once you change the settings once, it'll remember those settings while you are in Mixamo. Okay, so I'm going to save that animation again. Now we need one more animation, which is our jump animation. I want to search for jump. Now jump is a tricky one. Jump normally, depending on how you do it, normally back in the day it used to be broken into three sections. When you launch off the ground, while you're in the air, and then when you land on the ground. So Mixamo has one set of animations like that, but I'm not going to be using those because I want to show you how you can kind of work with an animation that's not necessarily ideal or designed for what you were creating it for, and then try to make it work for your game. Okay, I'm just looking for one that I think that's not bad. I'm going to use that one. I'm going to click download again. Just save it in my animations folder. There we go. Okay, and that's it. So now we can close this window, go to our Unity, and you'll see now we have two folders, animations folder and a models folder. If I select the model, you should be able to see it in the bottom right. If you can't see this window in the bottom right, chances are it's closed like that, so you can't see it. The way you open it is just go back to the bottom of your inspector window till the up and down arrows show up, where your cursor changes to an up and down arrow. Left click and drag it up to open up that little animation window. There we go. Okay, so when you select the base model, you'll see that there are no textures on it. There's no materials. It's just this little gray character. And there are four tabs. There's a model tab, rig tab, animation tab, and we're going to move over to the materials tab just to fix the material situation that we have here. Quickest way to fix this is just click on where it says location. It says use embedded materials. Click on that and say use external materials, legacy, and then hit the apply button. It's now going to create a folder for the textures and a folder for the materials where the model resides. Okay, so it's asking us that it's trying to import a normal map, but it's importing it as the incorrect settings. So say fix now so that it can import texture in the correct format. Click off and click back on the model, and you'll see that he now has his little textures. There we go. That resolves that issue. Okay, so one more thing we need to do on the base model is go to the rig section. And before Unity 5, we had, if you click on the animation type, where it says generic, we used to have only legacy, which means whatever you brought in, it was up to you to control it and decide what you do with it. Now, Unity added two more. Generic means any character that's not essentially a bipedal character or two-legged character can be generic, so dragons, horses, dogs, that kind of thing. And then they added another one, because a lot of people do humanoid characters, they added a humanoid tab. Now humanoid allows you to, Unity knows what humanoid means, and it's got, when it generates the avatar, or the, let's call it the avatar acknowledges where all the bones and joints are in the character and assigns the avatar bone and joints to that, so that if you want to do ragdoll physics, or if you want to do anything else, like if you want to blend one animation on the top half of the body with a different animation on the bottom half, you can easily do that with a humanoid. You can do that with generic as well, but there's a little bit of manual setup for the generic one. Not too much, but there is. Okay, so humanoid, and it says avatar definition, create from this model. You say yes and click apply. The moment you do that, you'll see that the configure button is no longer grayed out. I'm going to click on that just to show you what it's done. If I zoom out in the viewport, you'll see that it's now assigned all the bones in this character to the appropriate slots. So hips is assigned to hips, spine is assigned to spine, chest is assigned to spine 1, and upper chest is assigned to spine 2. And then if you go down here, they should all be correctly assigned. Shoulder, left shoulder to shoulder, because that's your left arm. Your left arm is upper arm, your left forearm is your lower arm, your left hand is your hand, and it's assigned all of these. To get out of this window, just scroll all the way down to the bottom and click the Done button. Okay, so that's it for the character setup on this side. So we're done with the actual base character. We're going to go to our animations where we've put them. We're going to select all 3 of the animations we have at the same time. And we're going to go and change the import animation type from generic to humanoid. So if you use generic, then all the animations using on that character need to be set to generic. If you're using humanoid, they all need to be humanoid, and then legacy, they all need to be a. So if I left this as generic, that model isn't going to recognize these animations as belonging to them. So we need to say these are humanoid, and we don't need to create an avatar. We already have done that. So click on where it says create from this model and choose copy from other avatar. You'll see that there's a new input field called source. It says none avatar. Click on the circle next to it, and you should only have one in your project. Mine is ch19 underscore non-PBR avatar, so I'm going to select that. And now these animations are aware that they belong to this character's avatar, and all you need to do is click apply. Now we're going to go, this is where it gets a little tedious. Each animation needs to be set up independent from each other. They do not, you can't just select all of them and say, let's tweak all the animations. So we're going to start with the idle animation. I'm going to go to the animation tab in the inspector. You'll see that the little window down here has a little play button. I can push play and watch the animation. See if everything kind of is one-to-one to the way it was in Mixamo. Okay, so everything looks good. I'm going to scroll down to the clips. This is the name of the animation. Now, I don't want to have it just saying idle. I want it to be the character name and then idle. That way, when I've like multiple idles in the game for different characters, I know which idle belongs to which character. So this one is ch19 idle, just so that I can make the easily find the animation I am looking for. Okay, so you get a little further down, you can see how long the animation is. It is 0 to 98 frames. It is 3.267 frames long. Seconds long. Frames. 3.267. So that's how long the animation is. It even tells you what the frame rate is. 30 frames per second. So we're good to go here. So now an idle animation loops. So that's why we need to turn loop time on. If I do that, it will repeat the animation. When it gets to the end of the animation, it's going to go back to the beginning, and it will do that as long as the animation is playing. It will always play the animation over and over and over. Now you're going to see this change, but these green dots are telling us that this animation is loopable. What that means is the first keyframe is the same as the last keyframe. So the pose that he has in the beginning of the animation and the pose he has at the end are identical, which means when we play through, it gets to the end and it goes back to the beginning, you won't see where the seam happens. You won't see where the animation ends and starts. Okay, so everything on here is fine. We can save this by clicking the apply button at the bottom. I want to select the next one, which is the jump animation. Let's actually do the run one first. Push play. Now, this animation has root motion. You can tell by the fact that this little controller on the floor is rotating with the hip movement, and it's also going up and down. That's why you can see the cameras bouncing up and down here. Notice how the character is slowly but surely rotating. So over a certain amount of time, this character is going to eventually end up rotating 360 degrees and come to the front. The reason for this is when the character was animated in whatever software it was animated in, the hip bone had a little bit of a rotational offset, causing this character to slowly rotate around itself. So let's select this animation and let's rename this to CH19 run. It is 33 frames long. It's 1.1 seconds long. I'm going to turn loop time on. Again, notice all the green dots are on, which means this animation loops properly. And to avoid this weird rotational value, I'm going to basically bake the animation in so we don't have any root motion. So I'm going to say root transform rotation here. I'm going to tick that on. And I'm going to just say original. So I'm going to find the original. This is going to be the original way the model came into Unity. And then I'm going to go to the bottom. I'm going to click apply, and notice how he's now facing completely forward. And no matter how many times he runs, notice how the little circle on his feet is no longer rotating side to side. Okay, so that's it for that one. Now we're going to do the jump, because I'm going to show you, we're going to break the jump into different sections. So we're going to select the jumping clip, call it CH19, jump, start. And I'm going to find, now you can break this up into 3 parts. I'm just going to do it for 2 parts for convenience sake. Plus at some point I'm probably going to do it, just divide this animation a little further. But I'm going to go to next to the play button, there's a little scrub. You can scrub through the timeline. I'm going to scrub all the way to when the player is the character is almost touching the floor again. I'm going to go for about frame 30. Okay, so frame 30, how do we change the length of a current animation? At the bottom here where it says start is 0 and end is 57, I'm going to put 30 for the end of the animation. Again, notice how dot is no longer green on most of them. Only the rotation is green because the rotation didn't really change. So but the positional values have changed for the up and down and side to side, and as well for the looping cycle. So if I play it now, you'll see that it's not the complete animation anymore. It's just when he's jumping up. And just to avoid this, if you look again at the little gizmo at the bottom of his feet, it goes through the floor. We want to fix that. So I'm going to fix the rotation so he doesn't randomly start rotating in different directions. I'm going to freeze the up and down movement, and I'm going to choose that to be by his feet. Notice how it stays locked on the floor now. And then the last one is just to also lock the side-to-side movement in case there is any. I'm going to click apply. The character is now going to face the correct direction, and that is how the first bit of the animation looks. And we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to rinse and repeat. Notice how I didn't turn loop time on, because I don't want this animation to be loopable. I want him to jump once when he's in the air and not continuously play this animation while he's in the air. Okay, so let's go to the clips, click the little plus to add a new animation, and let's call this one CH19 jump land, I guess. And because the last frame ended at 30, I'm going to make this one start at 31. So it's going to be 31 to 57 in my case. I'm going to again lock the rotation. I'm going to lock the up and down movement to the feet, and I'm just going to lock the X and Z position to the center of mass. And apply. Now we can test that one out. There we go. He's hitting the ground. Boom, boom. That's it. That is how we separate our animations. Just a recap, all we did was when we brought the model in, we changed the materials to use external materials, legacy, so we could import the materials. We clicked applied, and then that's how the materials were assigned to the character. We went to the rig and changed it to humanoid because it's got 2 legs, 2 arms, so it's bipedal. And we said create from this model, the avatar. After that, we made sure we assigned humanoid to all the animations we're using, and then we saying copy from other avatar. We assigned the avatar we created from the original model to this animation. And then in the actual animation itself, we just renamed our animation for easier finding of the animation. We turned on loop time for the animations that are loopable. And then for the ones that have any kind of up and down and side to side movement, like the running and that, if I select the running, all we did was we set loop time on and we just froze the rotation just so that there's no weird rotational values affecting the characters, the physical model to rotate. And then in the jump, we created, essentially we took the one animation and split it into two different clips, one for when he's jumping up, one when he's landing. We changed the length from 0 to 30 and then 31 to 57, and we just froze all of these values. So we made sure that the character doesn't do any weird rotation, he doesn't move physically up and down in the world, and he doesn't physically move around in the world on side to side and forward and backwards. And that's it. So I hope this video has helped, and in the next video we're going to take this and actually make the character that we've got, this awesome little character, the cylinder with a little VR headset, to have the character we just downloaded and to play the actual animation when he jumps, when he runs, that sort of thing. So till next time, be safe and thanks so much for watching.